Morning, guys. Check it out. I got some of these portable lights. They're like 20 bucks and they charge your phone and they're like super bright and they like illuminate everything and they stick to metal. So what I did was I illuminated like behind me. I've got a hair light here, I've got a hair light here, and then I got lights on the background illuminating, kind of making things, kicking it up a notch for you. I'm a photographer and I love playing. I definitely love playing with light. Illuminating things is what it's all about for me. So that being said, yesterday, I don't know if you've seen a video I did. I was looking to see if I took it down yet or not before I went in the water. Like dreaming of living off of futures, being able to figure out futures trading. Yeah, so like right before I went in the water, you know what I did? I heard somewhere in some group that I should go long, and I did at 3180. And I can't, it gets right up next to it, and it constantly, that's the ceiling for the last 24 hours, 9180. Can't even get the balls to get myself into the scalping account because all I want to do is look at that. Yeah, I'm hopeless, dude. I didn't even pay into any social security. I've been an independent businessman as an artist my whole life, whether commercial or fine art. And all I've ever been able to do my whole life is pay the bills. I've got no social security. I'm so fucked. I'm going to be doing this the rest of my life. Now, with that being said, I want to talk about Libra. Libra is... well, you know what I'm going to do? There's so many points in this article I'm going to read to you. This is going to be a long one, probably, that I'll get into my understanding of it, but I think I'm going to try and read it slowly so you can understand so much of what Libra is about and ultimately crypto at some level. So cryptocurrency, I got to turn this down a little bit. So here we go. This is an article by... I don't know who. Doesn't matter. Cryptocurrencies are winning. If you need proof, look no further than Facebook's proposed Libra stablecoin. With the release of its white paper, Tom Luongo explains the salient point is Libra is another attempt by the current banking establishment to slow the flow into the world of hard money. In this respect, Libra is no different than Ripple or dollar-settled Bitcoin futures contracts. These are products designed to slow the exodus out of the shadow banking system. Ripple is a way to lower foreign exchange fees, and off-chain future settlement is a way to control Bitcoin prices and exacerbate volatility to slow crypto adoption by the so-called normies. Now we have Facebook and Libra. As Caitlin Long points out in her excellent Forbes article, Libra will get major financial players backing it. The goal is to become a standard creator in the vein of the Dow Jones Committee or the IMF, since it will determine the basket weight of Libra or weighting of Libra. It won't, however, mind you, it won't be a cryptocurrency in the traditional sense. It won't have a limited supply, defined inflation rate, or any commodity character whatsoever. Proof of work? Pshaw! Every good Fredmanite knows that opportunity cost in creating new monetary units is simply wasted capital. Only mouth-breathing rubes stuck in 19th century think that's important. So that's what we are, right? Instead, Libra supply will be regulated just like every other fiat currency by a central authority. All right, guys, just simple, plain as day here. Listen, learn something. Facebook already wants all your data, whether you're an account holder or not. Okay, now they want to control your currency as well. The central bank of Facebook. When you extrapolate out the power of Facebook's platform to where this coin will be marketed to, emerging markets, Libra is looking for all the world like Facebook's application into the cartel of price-settling central banks. Ms. Long even hints at this in her article. In fact, it's her first 6 important points about Libra. Number 1, Facebook's cryptocurrency will be a powerful force for good in developing countries, which is where Facebook intends to market the product. Why? Facebook Why? Because central banks in developing countries are notorious for their lack of discipline in maintaining the value of their fiat currencies, which too often lose purchasing power. The best example among many is Venezuela, which is experiencing hyperinflation worse than Germany after World War I. By providing citizens of developing nations with access to a store of value that is more reliable than their government-backed currencies, Facebook's cryptocurrency will indirectly exert fiscal and monetary discipline on developing nations, which will improve the lives of many people globally. Valid point. Leaving aside the fact that much of Venezuela's hyperinflation stems from the U.S. sanctioning and cutting Venezuela off from the global banking system, she has a strong point. Governments are terrible at managing the value of their currencies for all the reasons Austrian economics have laid out in painstaking detail for decades. Think this through for 5 seconds and you'll get an obvious conclusion. Facebook and the Wall Street banks, which actually control it, are creating a coin to do away with national currencies in the countries most vulnerable to the Fed's control over the global monetary system. Should I read that again? Facebook and Wall Street banks, which actually control it, are creating a coin to do away with national currencies in the countries most vulnerable to the Fed's control over the global monetary system. This is the next step in the quest to create a world currency. Not that we don't already have it at some level. And if the current system's long-term health is threatened by, maybe the implosion of a bunch of sci-fi banks like Deutsche Bank sparking a global sovereign debt crisis, then a stablecoin like Libra to replace a discredited dollar, euro, yen, pound makes some perverse sense. Guys, listen. This is scare you out of your pants Disneyland storytelling here. Listen. If the plan has always been, as Jim Rickards has been saying for years, that the response to a collapsing monetary system would be national currencies replaced with an IMF SDR as the reserves of the banking system, then having a cryptocurrency Trojan horse to bait and switch with has to be a part of the plan to maintain confidence in the institution that fomented the crisis in the first place. And what a better platform to do that with than Orwell's Panopticon, itself, Facebook. The crypto antibody. As I pointed out during last year's meltdown in cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin was needed to replace the Ponzi schemes masquerading as money. Bitcoin was born out of the extreme fraud of the financial system under Greenspan Bernanke. They used leverage, racketed up most of the Y2K, racketed up post Y2K levels to which could only be supported through legislative fiat to wall off capital fleeing the system. And the response was a group of folks applied the teachings of Austrian economics and Ludwig von Mises' regression theorem to create a digital asset which became more resistant to fraud the more it was adopted. The result was Bitcoin. Bitcoin was a catastrophic mutation, a thing born out of necessity to free human beings from central issuing authority of new monetary units. That relationship needs to be broken if we're going to free ourselves from the cycle of tyranny of the few at the expense of the many. 2. Rewind this and listen to that again, because I'm not going to read it again. In short, government ineptitude and or fundamental evil created Bitcoin. All right, dude. And not necessarily Bitcoin, but a blockchain technology that relates to value. Bitcoin is, because so many there's 2,000 other cryptocurrencies, so whatever. Everybody, Bitcoin maximalist, Bitcoin. Yeah. This is the essence of what Miss Long talked about around the same time as that post in her Mize weekend talk, Will Blockchain Free Us from Wall Street? And so there's a video about this, Caitlin Long from Mize Institute. It's a wonderful talk that focuses on the domestic reason why the dollar is yet to collapse and why Bitcoin provides the framework in which we can craft money that isn't controlled by a central issuing authority. This is the key point that she mentions but doesn't emphasize in her talk. For the first time in history, we have been presented the option to choose money whose new units are not subjected to the whims and corruption of humans. That's set by math. And math both determines the rate of inflation and the rate of trust developed by the money itself. This continues to be Bitcoin's biggest advantage as long as the economic incentives to maintain the network remain positive and are not perverted. A farewell to kings. It means no philosopher king is deciding the rate of inflation or deflation. It means minimizing rent-seeking behavior. It means an end to counterfeiting as we have experienced in the past. But as I said earlier, things like off-chain settled futures contracts create paper bitcoins which suppress its exchange rate versus the US dollar. Do you understand why ETFs are fucking stupid? They're not, whatever. They're not legitimate. Everybody uses the word legitimate around them. That is the last thing they are. They are an attempt, but they are the very, very small who control everything, making it clear that who gets to and doesn't get to participate. But as I said earlier, things like they are an attempt at counterfeiting through leverage. They're an attempt at counterfeiting through leverage. So are stablecoins like Tether, if not managed properly, and don't kid yourself, Libra. That's not a complete sentence. If not managed properly, and don't kid yourself, Libra. Oh, so are stablecoins like Tether, if not managed properly, and don't kid yourself, Libra. Facebook and Wall Street are banking on Facebook pervasiveness to drive mass adoption, to build an adjunct to the existing financial system, which slows the growth of the real cryptocurrency marketplace. They value blockchain to lower costs and replace antiquated clearing systems of increasing opaque ledgers, as Ms. Long points out in her art talk. But they still want to retain control over the value of money itself and what that money represents. They want to retain the system of perverse incentives they have created, which rolls up the wealth of the world to them. It was, as I said earlier, the perverse incentives that created Bitcoin in the first place. And with each new attempt to co-opt the technology and or to suppress its usage through ridiculous laws, they validate cryptocurrencies all the more, which is why Mrs. Long concludes in her recent article, number 6, Facebook's cryptocurrency will turn out in the end to be a Trojan horse that benefits Bitcoin. This is a good article. At the end of the day, I'm writing something that's positive, or I'm talking about something that's positive. I don't know how to write. And I'm talking what somebody else said, so don't listen to me, do your own research. Okay, number 6, Facebook's cryptocurrency will turn out in the end to be a Trojan horse that benefits Bitcoin. During a period of monetary upheaval, one in which the faith of the institutional order tends toward zero, there will be a fundamental shift away from public issued money as trusted media of exchange. Right? They inflate the shit out of the fucking moon. I mean, the Fed's fucked right now, man. They're supposedly gonna, Trump wants to fire this guy so he can lower rates and bring, essentially a negative interest rate policy is the only way I think Trump imagines the world to be, where if you hold on to money, it just burns away, and the people that print the money get to control it all, and I can't imagine he wouldn't love that world. So anyways, during a period of monetary upheaval, so I'm just saying there's potential monetary upheaval that's been abound ever since I was probably born, because we have no commodity-based or collateral-based monetary system. Anyways, in which the faith of the institutional order tends towards zero, there will be a fundamental shift away from public issued money as a trusted medium of exchange. If Martin Armstrong is correct, and we are approaching the end of a megacycle in public trust and a massive shift in consciousness to private assets as store of wealth, then it again makes sense for the powers to be, those I like to call the Davos crowd, to create a private, in-name only cryptocurrency to co-opt that shift and remain in control. But it also means that these same people who have fed at this trough for so long aren't any more capable of managing it successfully than they were with the dollar and the euro. So these people are going to fail because they're a bunch of idiots anyway. So let them bring on Facebook. It's just going to bring on mass adoption to Bitcoin that much quicker. Pretty cool conclusion to a thought process, I imagine, after 15 minutes of listening to my garbage. But it also means the same people who have fed so really we really do have little to fear from Facebook and Libra in the long run, because we knew from the Trojan rabbit it came back to land squarely on their heads. And then there's some other stuff in here that I didn't think make any sense. And they didn't even bring up, this article was yesterday, so now Maxine Waters wants to make it illegal for Facebook to have their own crypto. So what do you think? I think that I got a lot of printing to do. Yeah, Libra coin's a joke.